I'm thinking something like. Yay, we're doing it.
We're here.
Our Zoomies, our first Zoomy Doom,
We'll see how it goes.
our Doom Zoom. You know what I'll say? I don't like being away from you.
Oh, same.
I can't grab your hand and go, "Eek."
It is a different feel. We can do
Yeah. Yes, I'm proud of us, dude. We have put so much love into this podcast. I'm sorry if you're just listening to audio, it just reacted a thumbs up out of Melanie's mouth.
it. We're on Zoom. It'll do this too. The hearts will come.
Oh, mine doesn't do that. I guess because I got the broke bitch version.
Something else will happen where balloons will come up. I don't know how to turn it off. So it
That's
just
the
happens
part.
in sessions. It's really funny. Especially when I'm holding a brain spotting pointer.
Oh
Something
my God.
about fingers up or something. It does something when
That's
you're
hilarious.
holding up. Anyway.
The balloons are when you fart.
Darcy.
Don't blame it on your dog. How dare you?
She's used to it.
That's so funny. So today is just me and
Yeah,
Melanie.
you're
Um,
welcome.
and what are we talking about? What's our vibe?
Well, we're going to talk about being lied to.
Guys.
Those moments where something turns out to be completely different than what you've always known it to be. It shatters your world, or it can.
Yeah.
And then there's so many different aspects, like when you mentioned this topic that came to mind that of ways we might experience this. So it can be like political views, religious views, like when we're changing these really big mindsets of how we've come to know how the world operates.
Yes.
Also be through people, like in relationships, whether it's friendships, parents, romantic partners, just turning out to be something completely different. They're not who you thought they were and what you built a relationship around. So there's just a lot of different types of betrayal um, that gets experienced in these different aspects and kind of how we might experience that.
Yeah. And I mean, it seems to happen a lot, or at least on Netflix, because of all these like wife goes missing. What and it was the husband of like 30 years. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened?
How have you experienced this?
Um, so I think maybe I've mentioned this on the podcast, but well, I've experienced it a lot in early dating. I mean, no man was what I thought he was.
Right.
Um, or we'd still be together. But
But where it took you by surprise.
yes.
I know I have some things that come where I'm like, I feel duped.
Hmm.
Or you're like, wow, that just really took you by surprise, didn't see it coming, and you feel like it's more than like, well, that's disappointing. That person sucks. This is like, I feel duped now, even when it comes to maybe not a person, but I know with religion.
That's exactly what mine is.
Yeah, so tell me about it.
Well, my family wasn't Christian. I became a Christian mm, because my friend invited me to church. So like,
Yeah.
and I was a teenager, so it was like a huge part of my identity. You know, when you're a teenager, anything that you're doing is like, oh my God, this is everything. It means the most to me. Like,
Yeah.
um, so I would spend like pretty much every day at the church. I was on the dance team. I was, you know, I eventually like I remember the day that I got my mom to come to church. I was sitting in the nursery, I was taking care of the kids, and they have a camera on the altar. And I
Mhm.
see my mom walk down the aisle to like give herself to God. And it was like I rushed out of the nursery and I like ran down to pray with her. It was like this huge moment. Like all of our friends were there. It was a huge community for us, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and there was this guy in the church who we all like really liked. Like we went to him for advice. He worked with the youth a lot. And looking back, there were signs where I'm like, oh, this guy was not
Lulu.
Delulu. Yes, exactly. But at 14, 16, I'm like, I looked up to this guy a lot.
Mm.
And then in college, so once I went to college, I started to meet other people and started to be like, oh, maybe, everything that I've been taught for the last 4 or 5 years is my mind was expanding. But I was still like reading my Bible every day, and I thought I was like some kind of martyr. I was so obsessed with like being a Christian. Well, anyway, one day he posted on Facebook this meme type thing that was like, it's time to play Muslims and cowboys. Like saying like, yeah, exactly that phase. It was like, oh, I'm gonna go like some kind of weird thing against Muslims. And I just was like, oh my God, this guy that I thought was my direct link to God,
Hmm.
out of like, I remember things out of his mouth were God's word to me.
Yeah.
Like at one point he was like, "You guys, I want to be your pastor." And I was just like, "Wow, God really said that." But no, he just wanted to be the You know what I'm saying? So seeing that, I was like, "Oh shit, this guy is just a guy." And then I started questioning everything, like God. I'm like, if this is who God was to me, then God's whack too. Like, is this what God is? Like hating other people? So then I just like pretty much cut my relationship off with God. Um, and then that lasted for maybe a year or so. And then I found my own relationship with God and rebuilt um, that relationship, which I'm so grateful for because it's a better relationship, honestly. The one I had was very like disconnected and pretty much just like uplifting other humans who are, humans do crazy shit. So I'm grateful for where I am, but that definitely like blew my mind, especially because I got my family into it. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't just something that I was doing. I was like, Mama, you gotta come. Like Christianity, they tell you to go out and get other people. So to bring them into this is
Hmm.
it just felt shocking and also like I was so hurt. Your thumbs up. I was so hurt because I'm like, you hurt the people that I love too.
Yeah.
It was fucked. It was fucked.
How did that affect you? I mean, I know you said you kind of deconstructed, it sounds like a little bit, but like, can you think back to like what was your internal, how did that turn your world upside down? Because you, like you said, you kind of put all your eggs in one basket as far as like what Christianity is. And I imagine for a lot of people, and you can tell me if it felt this way for you, but like when we don't have like when we don't know quite who we are or we aren't confident in ourselves and our self-esteem is, a struggle as well. Like having a system, whether it be religion or anything else, that gives us a check and balance so we can check, I'm doing good, I'm a good person, I'm following rules. Um, Subconsciously plays out that way. And so when that gets taken away, because I work with a lot of people that were raised in cults and then have gotten out, and they are drawn to other systems that will create control as well because they don't have that internal sense of knowing how to know who they are and function in their life without a sense of control happening,
Wow.
whether through it's just a really rigid schedule. Like I had one client that was, you know, had such a schedule that it was like hour by hour in the day, and I was like, okay, let's only put like our meetings on there. And so we had to kind of undo that, but noticing you like what'd you do when if that was working for you that way? You nodded your head, whenever I was saying that, but like so then what happened after? When you're like, I don't have the system in place anymore that gives me this, I'm doing good, I'm a good person, or I'm following the rules.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I made that face because I was like, just hearing that gave me a sense of like, I'm a good person, like checking up because it reminds me of how my OCD shows up. So that's just so interesting to think about. But for me, honestly, well, at first there was that like, oh my God, so like is heaven or like it wasn't just life, it was afterlife too, was all fucked. I'm like, oh, so is heaven even real? Like, all this stuff. So I kind of went, I had been so regimented and serious about everything, like no drinking, no sex, da, 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 that I kind of went,
Other way.
yeah,
Mhm.
the total opposite, like 0 to 100. Like I've tried drinking for the first time. I had sex for the first time. Like I kind of was just like, well, if none of this is real, then fuck it. I was angry, honestly. I was like, God let this man be in charge. God sucks too. Like, let's just fucking do all the opposite.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I saw that side and I was like, well, this ain't it. He's this hurts just the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's what found my pendulum back in the middle, or like the place that I want to be. Um, but yeah, that took me to do the opposite.
Yeah.
I found
I
out.
always say it is. We have to let that pendulum swing and find the middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
pendulum
even if you,
is strong.
yes. I think that's a good thing. When you know both sides.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Mhm.
Every time I talk to you or a therapist, I'm reminded that like nothing is that serious.
Say more.
It's just like um I'll think things and it'll be like so it'll consume me and be like, "Oh fuck," like just now when you're like, "Yeah, it's nice to know both sides." But to me, I'm like, "Oh my God, I was like dating a guy that sucked and I had sex with someone that I probably wouldn't have had sex with if I wasn't in that mindset." He wouldn't have been my first choice, but he
Yeah.
was. Like these things that I not regret, but if I had, I'm like, "Oh, I would have made a different choice now."
But you only know that because you had that experience. You,
Damn, I guess that's true.
like you would only know that you would choose different because the what you've learned from that choice you did make.
Damn. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if you never experienced any of those things, I mean, can you imagine what decisions you might would have made differently other than that?
Yeah, probably pretty boring ones, honestly.
Or you would have always wondered,
Yeah,
what's that like? And then it could come at a time where life really fell apart, and then you get into all of that,
very
you
true.
know?
Very true.
So just trust it happened when it needed to. And then
Oh,
all we do is learn the lesson from stuff. Just to go, oh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that again. Let's do something different, you know?
that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Um, yeah, have you ever experienced like
Hmm.
this? Something that felt like it rocked your world?
Oh, three different things come to mind for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People be rocking your world, girl.
Yeah. And there's others that rocked my world, but in hindsight, I was like, I should have saw that one coming. But I would say I have the religious thing too. I grew up very in the Southern Baptist, I had purity ring and
Oh yeah, the purity ring.
Mhm.
Tell me, okay, I know what it is because I had one too, but tell us about the purity ring. I know
Oh,
those.
Jesus.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have sex with Jesus. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it was the promise. Like we had signed, I remember we signed a piece of paper that we would not have sex before marriage. That it was something we had to save to give to our husbands. Blech.
God. I remember wearing mine to karate. I did karate when I had it, and this old man at the thing, he was like, "You married?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a purity ring. Like I'm saving myself." And he goes, "Pff, wait till you're 17." And that stuck with me. So I was like, "What's gonna happen when I'm 17?"
They're
Like,
coming for you.
not even 18, not even a legal age, like 17 is so specific. I'm like, okay, old man. Yeah, the purity ring. Wasn't that such a sense of pride, though?
I mean, it fed that I'm being good. I'm being a good person for
Yeah.
me. It sucked. I didn't want to. I mean, you feel things. You're a teenager.
Yes.
But it was that. But then it was like I went to college and then kind of. fell away from that. Like tried to, church was really cliquey in college and kind of went away from it, but then as an adult came back to it. And I was a Christian up until COVID, which surprises a lot of people that know me.
The
Um,
same kind of vibe of Christian that you grew up with?
no, not that, not fundamentalist. But I went to church every Sunday to a non-denomination. I went to Cross Point. I helped do communion and pass the collection plate. Like I did worked at the coffee booth. Like I did
Wow.
all that up until COVID. And
Wow.
I wasn't, I mean, I don't think I was ever, the thing when I was a Christian was always, why is what we say is right? Like
Mm.
for everybody. And so that expecting others to believe as I did, I never really had that and thought that was like kind of stupid. A
Except
way,
that's the whole Christian thing.
yeah, because I just feel like my brain is wired to try to see all aspects of things. And so that never resonated with me. And I remember the more I I'm trying to say what pushed it along because it was like I never thought like being gay was wrong or anything like that. And so it was always felt like a square peg round hole with like there's things that I don't agree with and but I do believe in Jesus and at that point. And I remember asking my pastor to go to coffee with me. And it was because I think I was seeing more and more clients who were affected by the things I was hearing Christian rhetoric saying.
Mm.
My clients that were gay,
Wow.
friends or in that community, and just seeing the harm that could come from some of the Christian rhetoric that I was claiming to be a part of. And I tried to say it's the people, but not God, but it was rampant everywhere. And so that's when I went to ask my pastor, I'm in East Nashville, we're the most liberal part of town. And that church was it was like the first church I'd really belonged to since I was as an adult. And, but I was like, I need to know what he thinks about this because this is who I'm letting lead me, right? And I could tell he wanted, and he even said he was a little intimidated about the conversation. He's like, I know what you want to hear me say. And he was like, and I wish there was a Bible verse that I had that would let me say that. He said, but I haven't found it yet.
Whoa.
And it was like I could get his heart of like he didn't want to believe that being gay was wrong, but being dictated by the Bible, he just couldn't get there. And I was just like, wow, if everything we believe and how we are treating people depends on the right words in the Bible, and there's a lot of stuff around like the way it was interpreted in the 80s and translated, like what actually, gay me, like that kind of stuff. So I just kind of lost a little faith there of just like, I don't know if I can keep believing in this stuff, being a part of a group of people that are doing this. And then when
Me
COVID
chills
happened, I
saying it.
went to one online church service, the first, like one at the very beginning of COVID. And they had a guest speaker there and basically kind of saying, like, this was God's wrath and that we needed to pray, basically kind of the message, like, if you're not a good enough Christian, you're gonna get it was just like some crazy way of looking at stuff. And, I'm spending, every day of the week on Zoom with people freaking out about COVID, at that time, 6 hours a day. And then to hear the place I was going for rest and support have that message, it was just like, never again. I never went to church again after that. Because I was like I tithe, like it was an automatic withdrawal from my bank account tithing. Like I was that, like at that level. That's where I was, like right before COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And so it did just kind of change everything.
when you made that decision though, like the way you're talking about it now, it just seems so like, yeah, duh, I left. But was there any kind of like, oh my God, like I love these people, or I can't believe that, like any shock?
it was disappointing. I was really disappointed. Um, but then I had to figure out what I thought. I was like, I'm not a Christian anymore. And I was like, I can't identify with that. And then I was like, well, I don't know. Does that mean there's just not a God or anything anymore? And so I had to like figure out like what all that meant, like what I did believe. And it didn't feel right to say there's nothing, but I was like, but I don't know what it
Wow.
is. And so I just kind of started exploring and engaging in a lot of neutral spirituality of just ways to connect with myself and something maybe beyond me. I think psychedelics, when I got into psychedelic medicine and had started having some of those experiences that were very intentional, it kind of I felt like was able to connect to something beyond myself. And so it was like I had to start piecing together like what I thought. And I remember I lost my sister-in-law has a husky and they're notorious for running off. And she was up here staying at my house, and she was like, be careful when you take some like the garage door, because it's like, my backyard and then the garage. And I was taking something out to the garbage in the back. And I was blocking that door, not and that dog just ran, darted through my legs and ran out. She's asleep. I'm in my pajamas running through the neighborhood trying to chase this dog down. And I was crying because I was like, she is going to kill me. I've just lost her dog. This is like her baby. And when I was doing that, I like cried out like, God, help me get this dog. So I was like, I do think there's something else.
Definitely.
It was like I was looking for something outside of me that could help. It's like,
Oh,
okay, so I do think, like I noticed after that situation, I was like, I do think there's something bigger than me. So I need to figure out what that is. And that's when I just kind of started exploring more. But it
yeah.
was this like this period where I was like, I don't know. And that it felt hard because I try to give people the benefit of the doubt of just like even Christians today, or really anybody that, I mean, I think non-Christians, there's extremes on either
Yeah.
side. Um, that when your world is built so strongly around something like that, change is so hard because it's not just do you want to change, but to consider something other than what you have built your life around and have the foundations of who you are embedded in this and your community. To change means to lose a lot.
Mm.
That's so scary and is hard. So those who have taken in information and made shifts. Like, I think that's so brave.
Oh,
It's very hard. But I also understand why it's so difficult. I mean, like I said, working with people in cults, to leave, that you lose your family, your friends, everything you've known, and then you're like a newborn baby out in the world.
mm,
And that's incredibly hard to do. And it's safer to keep the same mindset and rhetoric that you're used to
definitely.
changing. Um, So I mean, I get that side of it too, but I think I found myself in that place where I was like, I just can't agree with this stuff anymore. Like there were too many things piling up where I was just like, this just doesn't make sense to me. And after I found my own version of spirituality, I feel like I'm closer and more spiritual now than when I was a Christian, just
Ah,
because it was a shame game. At least for
exactly.
me. And I know it's not like that for everybody, but for me, in the places I engaged, it did feel like a shame game
Definitely.
where that was just like, I've been so bad, God doesn't want to hear from me. So it's more of an avoidance, you know? So yeah.
Yeah. You
But
can't
yeah,
get
that's definitely one thing where it was like, it flipped my world upside down and during COVID. But, classic me, what do is about 6 months in, I started noticing other people doing that. And I was like, let's do a group on it. So I did an online group
you
around
created your own church.
deconstruction. It was a therapy group, an online therapy group for people with struggling with spiritual, um, kind of figuring out navigating. And not, it wasn't to let's deconstruct Christianity necessarily, but it's like that may be where you land, but let's reconstruct it in a way because you're choosing it and you understand it and it fits your beliefs, not just because, for any other reason besides that. Um,
Yeah.
and so I tend to do that. And I was like, y'all, I'm about 6 months ahead of you. So we're all needing this right now. So, um,
Ketchup and mustard, baby.
yeah,
Well, what are the other two that came up?
those are people.
Oh,
Um, I'll be brief. How much time we got left?
go wolf. He's- I'm interested to hear these from you because earlier you said like there's those people that do this where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe. And then there's the ones where you were just like, oh yeah, that person sucked.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what you believe the difference is. Like,
Well, I mean, I've been married and divorced, and while the divorce was extremely painful and hurtful, it wasn't that big of a shock that that's how it happened.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You
Like,
wouldn't say that's one that rocked you.
it rocked me emotionally, but it didn't shock me. It was
Interesting.
painful, but it was like looking back, I mean, at the time, maybe it did, but looking back, I'm like, oh, this person was exactly who I knew them to be even before we got married. It just got worse when we got married.
Damn.
Just typically how it goes. Any problems you have before you get married, those will compound when you get married and you'll have to deal with them. And looking back, it's like he was exactly who I knew him to be,
Mm,
So that it didn't shock me that it happened that way. It was just really sad and hurtful, but
that's
that,
interesting.
yeah, that one wasn't. So that was just like, that's sad. That's a bummer. That sucked. Versus someone presenting themselves as something different than who you find them out to be.
Talk about that. Because you have two.
Yeah.
You say, yeah.
That is why I've been single more than I've been in relationships. Uh, yeah. So the last person I dated seriously before my current relationship, um, this person just presented themselves as really self-aware and could speak a lot of language of mental health, you know, like
Oh,
so there's this perception that they were at a certain level of awareness and who they who they were and how they operated. And then it was literally just one day they showed up at my house and ended the relationship, but they came in with like this energy I'd never seen before, the way they were like being. And just, I mean, looking back, projected a lot of stuff onto me where I literally, I remember the sinking feeling and feeling like I was going to throw up and like just got super hot and was like, is this really happening? Like it just spun me around and I was just like, wow, that it surprised me. And I was like, this was not who I've known this person to be, who just showed up and said and did those things and was like, I mean, that one was a hard one to get
they
over.
on drugs?
No, no. I mean, they like showed up. It was kind of like, it's hard to, it's hard to put into words, but it was like the energy it was just such a harsh energy showing up when they came. And they just showed up and then, uh, kind of started naming things where you're just like, you've never said anything about this. How was I supposed to know this was even a issue you had? Um, Said that I was very unaware and a narcissist. And I was like,
Whoa.
well, and my response was like, okay, I need to think about that and see what's mine to take responsibility for in this. But the more I was like, nope, I'm not a narcissist. Like, I'm like, I don't. but it was like you can't really, what do you do with that if that's somebody's experience and what they're saying? But it was just nothing that had ever come from that person before. Um,
Wow.
or
No sign
anybody
of
else
a
in my life
divorce.
has ever given me feedback like that, where I was just like, wow. But looking back after processing through all of that, it's like I know that person's trauma and past relationship stories they had told me, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess this makes a little bit more sense now. But at the time, it was kind of like, because they were, have you ever heard of future faking?
No.
The term future faking? It it's like where they're talking about all these future plans, and it's a way to kind of pull you in.
Wow.
And then it was just this abrupt, like, we're done. I'm like, huh? What? Like we
Oh,
I remember my response was like, I didn't think this was a relationship that ended. Like I thought it was at a place where you just deal with things together, no matter what it is.
yeah,
Like,
you've already planned your future. You're like, we're together.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was very like, what? It's so it that one took me for a loop.
I'm curious, and you don't have to say if you don't want to, but what was their background that made you be like, oh, I get it?
Childhood trauma,
What was,
childhood trauma and attachment trauma.
oh, like, but what kind? Like, would someone leave them and so they were trying to prevent that, or like,
No, it was with their parents, like the relationship and attachment and stuff with parents and like the lack of it.
oh, interesting.
Attachment and yeah.
You're like, mm-hmm.
Say too much, but they're just to be respectful. I don't think they listen to this podcast, but yeah, looking back, I think I can see some relationship dynamics they described in their past relationships, but then what I knew of about their childhood and how they were raised, and um, this person was kind of dysregulated a lot, um, which was new for me. I'd not really dated somebody that was like that,
But it was
but.
never towards you.
um,
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, yeah, around like things would just dysregulate them very easily.
Hmm.
Where it was like, I kind of had to stop and put anything I was feeling kind of aside to kind of address how they were feeling and get them regulated.
Gotcha.
And then it got, I think, I mean, this is from me trying to make sense of like, where to go wrong kind of a thing was that I like tried to I put my stuff aside so much to and just focused on because it just became a pattern of if I can settle this person down, everything will be okay. Bringing up my stuff will just enact this again. And so I didn't really bring up stuff that much. It was I'm managing theirs, and that's not a good way to be in a relationship, but it was easier. My dad was sick with cancer at the time, and I just didn't have the emotional energy to do that. And so I think there were certain needs they needed in a relationship that I couldn't give,
Mm,
but they never talked about it.
yeah.
And then it
Did
just
you
kind
ever
of blew up and ended it.
did you ever get like closure from that, from a person being someone from that person acting a way that shocked you?
Did I get closure with that person?
Both that and closure in yourself of like, I don't know, did you feel like you could trust people after that?
Yeah, I do now. I mean, that took a while. That took a lot of, it's like when I have a relationship end, I'll spend a few years just healing and learning from it.
Years?
Mhm. I typically would average a few years between relationships.
That's crazy. I mean, not crazy and like that's insane, but like I feel like not a lot of people take years.
Yeah. I think when I got divorced, it was 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
I mean, I would hang out with people, but I wouldn't.
What does hang out mean, Melanie?
I'll let you decide whatever that means.
Oh yeah.
It's a friend with benefits type situation.
Okay,
There
yeah, so you're not like alone just in a cave for
yeah, But I didn't want anything emotionally I had to show up in. I just didn't have it. And so somebody that was safe and comfortable, that was a friend and, you know, could meet physical needs that we had, that felt safe and comfort for me and what I needed at the time. So yeah, but that was like 4 years. And then I feel like it was always a year or two between relationships.
Good for you.
As I just, yeah,
Were
I
you
felt
never a
really
serial
bad.
dater?
Hmm?
Were you never a serial dater, like growing up? Serial monogamous?
Yeah, I mean, I never like dated a bunch of people at once, but it was like when I had a relationship, I would show up in it and it would feel really important to me. And so
I'm saying, were you always in a relationship?
as a younger person, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't know how to be alone when I was younger.
got you.
Had to learn and grow into that.
Was that the first time after that that person you just talked about, that you'd taken a couple of years to be alone? No, I guess after your divorce.
Yeah. After my divorce, everything changed about me and my life. I think in good ways, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest catalyst for me doing my own personal work and learning how I show up in relationship and like the grossness of some things of how I did things was like, oh, I remember reading a book. It was about love addiction and that was me. And I remember reading it and I remember I would just sob while I read it because I was like, this is me and this feels so yucky. But it
Oh,
also felt like I was learning, I had the keys had been to myself had been handed to me of like, here's how you can understand what you're doing and how you're behaving and why it's causing so much trouble for you. And so that it was so hard to read and know I was, but it was life changing.
do you remember what the book was called?
Um, yes. Um, I'm looking to see if it's on my book. I have a bookshelf right here.
Mhm.
It was, oh God, I don't know. I can find it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, I think it's Pia Melody, Facing Love Addiction. Yeah.
Love addiction. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anything that like you remember really popped out of you? Like one
Around
um
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just put relationships central to my self-worth
Oof.
and the self-abandonment that happens over and over in order to keep relationships because being alone hurts so bad. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. But yeah, just and the expectations I put on the people I was in relationships with.
Oh, that's a big one.
A lot, when you're reliant on one person to meet all your needs. And my idea of love and romance came from movies, and it was just like my expectations were just crazy.
I've
Looking
never
back,
used that word.
whereas now, I mean, my view now is like, I mean, I love my partner and we're so different on different levels. But it's like I have friends and like I have different types of friends. And it's like they're all my primary relationships. Like they all meet different needs. And so not every one person is going to meet all your needs. I think that's impossible.
So true. It's just a letdown for you and that person.
Yes, for sure.
I want to hear your what third came to mind, but I want to ask a question. Some people let th- breakups that rock them like that and shock them,
Yeah.
like stop them from getting close to anyone again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. If someone feels that way that's listening, what would you suggest to them?
Oh, keep working on it. Like you can find safe people you can trust. They're out there. But you've got to learn what trust and safety feels like for you and set the bar high.
Set the bar high.
Yeah. Yeah. Set it high. learn from whatever relationship just ended, dissect it and figure it out of what your part in it, because you had a part in it.
Yeah.
Everybody had, it's a, whoever's in the relationship, each person has their own part. And so figure out what yours is so you don't repeat it, and look at what showed up with the other person that isn't okay with you anymore. And as soon as you see it in another person, be done.
That's really, yeah, that's great. And I think that takes too, like, I know after the church thing with me, there was a little bit of like, am I stupid? Like, am I
Mhm.
naive that I believed all this shit? So like, not only dissecting the relationship, but like building your self confidence back up and knowing that like you're not terrible just because a relationship didn't work out.
Right. Yeah, of course. Like even with when that relationship ended, I had that feeling like I've been duped. I believed this person to be this. How can I trust myself to know in the future
Oh,
someone, and I mean, as a therapist, trust me, I see the backside of everybody's life. Like people can put on good fronts.
that's terrifying, Melanie. That's terrifying.
That's why you got to have discernment, and you've got to trust. Like maybe you can't what I try to help people shift to is like, I can't trust anybody, is to I can choose who I can trust.
Ooh,
And
nice.
understanding what trust, like, understand what's the recipe that makes up you being able to build trust and safety with somebody, and looking for those things and building them, asking for it, demanding it.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. Because you can't trust everybody, but trust is something to be built. And there'll be people that like will break your trust even without meaning to. So it doesn't mean you can't trust everybody. It's you got to learn you've got to have a barometer for it
Well, how do you build discernment?
by learning what that looks and feels like, you
Mm.
know. And there's got to be a level of trust within yourself that that you've learned. Like if trust was broken, figure out like what broke the trust.
Mm.
What did you miss? Maybe some of the things looking back on. And man, our desire for love and connection will override red flags all day long.
Yes.
And so there's so many, it's layered. There's not one answer, but it's like, can you be okay being alone? Because so many times we choose, like, they say a familiar hell.
Yeah.
It's like, well, at least I won't be alone. I can deal with this.
Mm.
And you don't have to. You can have a great life as a single person with good friends around you, that you'll never find that person that feels really good for you if you're staying in these shitty relationships. Yeah.
Fact.
And
Yeah.
so I kind of always looked at it as, you know, if I'm not single, if I'm staying in this crappy relationship, I'm not going to find the good one. So I got to get out of this as fast as possible. It's like I need to be single and ready when they show up.
Bags.
And
Yes.
so it became a really quick, like, this isn't right.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really nice. Isn't that a great feeling where it's not even that big of a deal? You're just like, nah, they're not for me. And you just know it and you move on. It's a great feeling. I'm thinking about that like with friendships and connections. Yeah. It's got me thinking about what we might talk about on paywall, about like when to let somebody know
Hmm.
that they're doing something wrong or like not it, and when to just like keep it moving.
Yeah.
Join our paywall. But so tell me the third thing that came up for you.
My stepmom.
Oh God, that was a shaker for you?
Yeah.
I thought you always knew.
Not to that extent. I never thought that something like that she'd do something like that.
All right. Well, can you elaborate for the people that may not know?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to filter as I talk because I want to make sure I talk about this in a way I feel ready to talk about it
Sure.
publicly. Um, if we're on the paywall, I'd say a lot more. See how
Or the
joint.
jaywalk.
Yeah. Um, so after my dad passed away, about 2 weeks after that, my stepmom sent my brother and I a text saying my dad like died with a broken heart because we weren't Christians and that we'd never see him again unless we were in a Bible teaching church, like that kind of rhetoric. And it was her job to say these things and steer us in the right way, kind of thing. And that, I responded, I left it open for conversation, but I was like, why would you say something like that right now? And it's not your job. You're not our mom to, I'm in my 40s. It's like the job is done of parenting. Like, as far as like I have done the Christian thing and I've intentionally and mindfully where I am now is done with intention. But they never got to know, try to ask that side of like they didn't want to know, I guess.
Did that
But
text shock you?
hmm?
The text shock you?
Yes, but I mean I take it with a grain of salt that I was grieving, so that made it feel a certain way. Um, I tried to say she's grieving as a reason why she maybe behaved that way. But then it continued. Like anything the text only came like on Easter that she's praying for us. Like it was just a few of those texts, and my response was always, there's still a conversation that needs to be had, and I'm ready to, I'm willing to have that whenever you are. And she has her read receipts on, so I would see she read it but didn't get a response. But then it went to changing the locks on my dad's house pretty quickly, and said we
Whoa.
weren't welcome there. Um, and just a complete cutoff. And then I had two stepsisters as well. So they were married almost 20 years. So this was like another mother figure to me. And we'd had our ups and downs and struggles but for all, as far as I knew, we were in a good place and supportive. And I was there with her the whole week, when like I was in the house staying with her, supporting her when my dad died. So it's not like we were estranged. We were close. And so that, yeah, that just kind of abruptly stopped. And so then I lost two sisters that I'd had for 20 years as well. And so, and then with the changing the locks on the doors, we're not welcome, to not letting us have any of my dad's things and giving them to her kids, and cousins and things like that. Um, it just that was just a big loss on top of already a big loss. So it
Mm.
made the impact of it where we're like, well, I just lost a whole family at once, is what it felt like. And then just the added shame, she was trying to put on us for not being a Christian. So it was just like, we're talking about like the week that I was home, like she would want to like hold hands and pray with me. Like, and so I would do it. I would be there and do that with her because it was what was helpful for her, And so it was like that we had like I felt like we were probably had gotten pretty close during that week going through all that. And then it was just like right after for that to happen. So it was just yeah, that really surprised me. I was like, whoa, she's pretty vicious. Like, and it was just she's kept all my dad's things, you know, money and all that. So
You know what pisses me off, like with these two stories? You gave a lot of yourself to these two people in ways that you were just doing to help them. Like with her, with the praying, you're like, we felt close because I was doing this for her. Like, you didn't want to sit there and pray with her, but you did that for her because you knew it'd make her help her. And then with the ex that came, you were like, their problems, I didn't really talk about mine because I knew they couldn't handle it. And then it wasn't just like they were mean to you, it's like they took from you and then just like beat it into the ground, like stomped your heart into the ground.
Feels like a good description.
Yeah, that pisses me off. I
Hey,
want to show up. I want to show up unannounced to where they are when they feel safe, and I just want to trip them. That makes me sad. It makes me very
I
upset.
have some friends that with when it comes to the stepmoms say something similar.
Yeah,
We're going to show up in a U-Haul and get your dad's stuff.
yeah, that pisses me off. That's crazy. And I remember you going through this stuff. And it was just it's heartbreaking. How do you deal with the anger? Because I
Mm.
think about me being angry, I get road rage, and then I'm past that person, and I'm still like, you fucking idiot. Like, and then once I start coming down, I'm like, wow, I really let that anger rock my day. I'm on my way to get a coffee and go shopping. Like, I'm having a great day. I let that anger rock my day. I can't imagine what this anger would do to you.
Yeah. I mean, and it still comes and goes, but yeah, it did sit as anger for a long time. Well, I think it was sadness at first mixed with anger. And then I spent a lot of time ruminating on it, wanting to get lawyers involved because I
Mhm.
was just like, I don't need any of his money, but just for the purpose of taking it away from her, I would feel like that kind of feeling, and I was like, I don't like carrying this kind of feeling around. This feels yucky, and it didn't feel like me. Um, and so I did some brain spotting around it. I've done the cord cutting, like meditation stuff around it. Um, Writing letters, like just for my own sake, just to get it out
Mm,
of
that's
just
not.
things I would say. Because trust me, I'd have multiple conversations in my head of like what I would say. Um, and it's a lot of anger, but it was kind of when I realized that's keeping me stuck. Um, it turned from like a rage anger to like the anger I feel now is just more of a righteous, that wasn't right, something was wrong was done to me. So there's feels just like an anger for myself, that deserves to be treated better, kind of a thing. But like I've had to learn it was keeping me stuck in my grief a
Oh.
long time. And I think I just was like, I've got to figure out a way to let go of this because I was like talking to lawyers, they're like, it's gonna be a fight. And I just was like, that's not where I want my energy to be spent. I want it to be spent in other ways. And so I kind of decided to let that go. And then it was like I had to learn to grieve without needing anything material from my dad's. And that was hard, but it's that helped me let go of some of the anger around like wanting or not getting to go through his things. And you know she attempted to give us some of his stuff like last year, I think. She wouldn't let us come get it, but she let my sister come get it. But I didn't even know what half of it was. It looked like she dumped junk drawers into boxes. And it was just like, that. I was like, I don't even know what any of this is. I've never seen it before. So there just wasn't any stuff like that. So, you know, yeah.
Is there anything that you learned about yourself or about how you want to interact in relationships moving forward from that experience?
A good question. I don't know. I don't know. That was such a unique relationship to say what I learned from that relationship. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. Um, I did learn about myself though, is like I'm pretty strong and resilient.
Hmm.
Like to me, that's the hardest thing I can imagine getting over is like losing my dad, and then all of that just made it so much harder. Um, And at the time I was single, it was COVID. I lived by myself everybody else had families and spouses, and I just was, you know, alone in a lot of it. And so looking back, I'm like, I'm pretty resilient because I could have just let my life collapse around me in grief if I would have let it. And there were days where I wanted it, where I was just like, I can't do another day right now. Um, but I would say my internal strength, but the people, I had really good friends around me. And I think that's important. So it was like almost that was another resilience factor of my own, is like that I create really good friendships and relationships around me. Um, I think I just really saw how important those were when you're going through stuff in life, that your family is like what you make it. It's not blood.
Mm,
It can be, but it doesn't have to be by any means. Like your family's like who you choose. And your definition of family can be different than what maybe you were taught growing up.
definitely. That's great. I think it's cool. This whole conversation just like a cool thing to like take from it is that, like I said before, I mean that's so freaking hard, that situation. Like I can't even imagine. But that life is so intricate with crazy experiences and nothing it like it's all about what you can learn and improve your life upon after, like again, this experience that I had with someone I'm thinking about is not as intense as that. But I had a relationship with somebody that shocked me how they behaved. And then something that I took away from it was like, um, oh, like not everybody can have access to me.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, just like I'm a very friendly person, but not everybody deserves to have access to me. And so like I think about that because I meet a lot of people. So like now that's something that I keep in the back of my mind.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't want I this experience that I went through, it's still like is a bummer, but I'm like, at least I have that now. At least I like learned something from it to make my life better.
I really think that's what all of our experiences are for, is to help us like learn a lesson or grow a little bit from it.
Yeah.
And it's like I've experienced so many types of things like that, that it just, not that I ever look forward to going through hard things, but it's like when it does, my automatic thought was like, all right, let's gear up to heal from it. Like,
Mm,
what are we going to learn from that? Like, how are we going to do different, after whatever we just learned from, like, I know how to move through it. And it's like, I don't get worried about getting stuck in it. It's kind of like, it's, there's something to learn from every experience we have. And unfortunately, the most painful ones are the most catalyst for growth.
mm.
And so I wish pain wasn't a catalyst in the way that it is, but it's, if you know you can get something out of it, squeeze everything you can out of it
Yeah, definitely.
and make it useful to me.
Yeah, I think that's so major. And like, let yourself feel the feelings and be pissed or sad or confused and hurt. But just know that like I I I think there's very few things that'll like ruin your life. Like very few like shocking, surprising relationship things where you'll be like, I didn't know this person was like this. You
Mhm.
can recover from that. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's after you felt the feelings, just be like, okay, how did this make my life better?
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer of like, the more, and this is a sticky point, and I think a lot of us feel it, but you get stuck in like, I want to know. This was with both of these people, the situations I've just talked about, and it still pops up sometimes of just like, I want everybody to know how awful they are, how awful and harmful and hurtful these people have been, because like, there's a part of me that gets caught up in that because it feels like justice for myself almost. But when you're stuck in that thinking, they're still winning. It still has a hold on you. Like your energy, if everything's an energy exchange, look at the energy there. It's not affecting them at all. But you're ruminating and needing to because and what it's telling you though is that you still don't feel validated in what happened.
Yeah.
And they don't like no one else gives you that but you,
Damn.
you know? And
Okay,
so that's that desire of like, I need everybody else to know how bad it was so that I feel validated. Like we want that feedback of like, yeah, that was shitty,
yeah.
or we want like retribution. We want them to pay,
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, well, that would be great. But I just trust like karma does her job. I'm gonna release that. Like my energy's not gonna go there anymore.
Yeah. I question about that.
Mhm.
Um, like with this person that I'm thinking of, um other people that I know them, and my energy isn't like I need to tell these people about my experience. Like that I don't struggle with at all. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, if they're cool with them, whatever. That's none of my business. The
Mhm.
thing that I struggle with sometimes, and it's lessened over time, it has, but I'll get visions in my head that we like meet somewhere,
Yeah.
and I'll get to like they'll be like hi, and I'll be like no, not hi. Like I get to tell them exactly how I feel.
Mhm.
And it's definitely lessened, but like what would be your advice for that? Just wait until
Girl,
it stops happening completely.
I don't know if I have good advice for that because literally that situation has happened where you planned and you're like you have all this what you'll say and do when you see that person and I've had family weddings and I had to be around my stepmom and she came up to me and was like, "Hey, how are you?" and hugged me and I froze.
Oh,
I kind of went into like a trauma response and I just kind of like I didn't hug her back. I just stood there and froze and then my brother was with me and we just kind of like walked away and I was like, I'm so mad that I didn't like stand up for myself or say all these things, but it was just like, okay, my body didn't feel safe. It went through it the safest way it could or whatever. But so I don't know if I have any good advice as far as like how to deal with that. Like
well, how do you think about that now? Do you still think about like when I see her next? Or was it like,
now I'm kind of like, I mean, because I've seen her again since that at a wedding and it's just she's to me for all I'm concerned is like she's just somebody else there I don't know,
right.
like I'm over here, she's over there, and it's just for me the learning to let go, release stuff. Some people call it forgiveness.
Yeah.
To me that's what forgiveness means is it's for me, it's to release and not hold on to things because it just takes energy from me that I want back. So
And maybe seeing her helped that. Because
it
you have like,
desensitizes you.
what?
It'll desensitize you to that. Because before, when you're ruminating and imagining, it's because you don't have a tangible experience of it. So
Right.
you do, yeah. You're kind of like, ugh, yeah.
It was like in your head, I'm sure you were like, she'll do this, I'll do this, she'll do this, I do. And then when you saw it, it was like, oh, she just acted like herself. And I was like, oh my God, you're still yourself. And so it kind of lessens that like imagining thing,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I didn't know what I would always say I was going to say to her.
Please tell me.
I don't know why, but I would always say, "You're disgusting. I don't want to have anything to do with you."
Yes, I love that.
Simple, but in my head, that's what I would always just be like, "You are disgusting." Like that was
Love
just,
it.
I don't know. And just like, I want absolutely nothing to do with you. But
Yes, I love that.
yeah,
Mine is acting like I don't know them. Like they'll be like, hi, and I'll be like, have we met?
I love it.
Oh, it feels so good.
But then when it happens and you just freeze, like, oh God, I've rehearsed this
Yes.
over and over. So then it kind of, I mean, I was kind of disappointed in myself for a minute, but then I was like, that was a trauma response to freeze. I couldn't really control that. And so now it's just been like, they're just not in my orbit anymore.
Exactly. And that's so nice.
Yeah.
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 Well, I really love this conversation. I think a lot of people I mean, anybody who's ever met another human can probably relate to what we've just talked about.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, so the takeaways are just like, see what you can learn from it and know that it's not going to kill you, babe.
Exactly.
Life is going to get better.
It is.
And then I know we mentioned it a couple of times in this recording, but if you are not already on our paywall, join it.
I want to. It's good.
So good. It's $5 a month on Substack. We talk about things that we would never say publicly.
Yeah.
And they're really good conversations. And thank you for just listening to these episodes. We love you so much. We've been here for like three, almost 4 years now.
Crazy.
And it's just I'm so grateful for the audience growth and your kind messages. And
Hmm.
it's truly like in meet and greets, when people say, "Oh, and I love your podcast, never stop doing it."
Oh,
I, oh my God, it lifts me onto a rainbow because I'm like, this is one of my favorite things that I do. So just to hear those things, like never stop telling us, because they'll be like, I'm sure you get this all the time. And I'm like, tell me more.
oh, I barely only get it when you pass it along to me.
You're right. Melanie needs to
Every once
hear.
in a while, I have a client that'll be like, I listen to your podcast because I'll say
Oh,
something and she's like, I heard you talk about that.
oh my goodness. And you got recognized too.
I did at Costco. It was fun. I was like, this is what being a celebrity feels like. No,
Yes.
my version of it.
This was really good. And we fucking did the Zoom, dude. Hopefully they're listening to this right now.
And can view it somehow.
Exactly. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast.
I'm Melanie Reese. You can follow me on all platforms at Melanie Reese, LMFT, or Trauma Therapy Nashville.
My name is Amber Autry, and you can follow me everywhere at Amber Autry Comedy. And if you're not already a subscriber, you can do so for only $5 a month via all the links in our bios.
Thanks for listening.